I was looking for peace at some point, and so I wanted to be a priest. I actually wanted to be a priest. I pictured myself living in a monastery or whatever those places are, and just like having my own tiny room, and we would like use like every morning go to prayer, come back, pray for people, and just live like almost like detached from the world, and that looked very attractive to me. Like I would just be there, and or I wanted to be a plumber. I wanted to be a plumber. Now that is being a plumber is like the now these are things that I actually found out I enjoyed doing. Not being a priest. I know priests are like there's so much scandal. Not that type of a priest. No, just being like a godly, like loving, kind priest. I'm doing a haul for myself there.
I will be right here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fabish Mark podcast. It's another episode. I know it's like a weird one because it comes out. It normally comes out like on Thursdays or Fridays, but this one comes out on a Sunday, which is fun. I think sometimes you have to throw things out around a little bit. I am Fabish Mark. I am your host, and before we continue, I just want to ask that please hit the subscribe button, or if you know somebody who loves listening to podcasts, please ask them to hit the subscribe button, because I am trying like everybody else to grow. Because for me to reach more people, I have to grow. YouTube thinks, oh, this guy doesn't really work hard at all. So YouTube is like, yeah, we're just gonna restrain him to this certain type of people and this certain type of regions and this number of people. But the more I grow, the more YouTube is like, so he can grow. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. But today I wanted to talk about something that, okay, let's just get into it. I always wonder, like, do you ever, as a person, think about what it feels like to live in somebody else's skin? And I know that sounds crazy, but the reason why I'm asking that is because I've kind of come to realize, like, recently that so many people blame Gen Zs for the problems of the modern world, and so many people put very little trust in Gen Zs for the future of the world. But one thing that I don't understand most of the time is, yes, Gen Zs are very different from whatever generation was there before, and they're probably very different from the generation that's coming up before. But you cannot blame. I guess I'm a Gen Z, so I'm defending them. But I don't think you can you can blame us for every problem that's going on in the world. I understand that every time I go to the workplace, sometimes I hear like comments like, "Oh, like this generation of today just works very differently," and I'm almost like, what does that mean? And I understand that it's so annoying to people who, are like, okay, think about like after the World War, most of the people after that, like baby boomers and whatever, like they worked really hard, and they were like, it was like white collar or blue collar jobs, or like a working class group of like generation, and like they were taught to work hard and achieve. And then came the internet. Now, I don't think it's Gen Z's fault that Gen Z is the way Gen Z is. I feel like it's whoever invented the internet, it's their fault. Now, with that being said, I just feel like sometimes so much stress and so much like responsibility is put on people without actually, and then they're compared to like a generation that lived in a very different time. I'm telling you, if the internet today was the internet in 1940, they would still be like us. So it's not such a big deal. And one thing I've come to learn though is, you look around and you look at people, and you don't realize how much people are going through, and that's why I was wondering, like, what does it feel like to live in somebody else's skin? For example, if you're just a normal person like me, and you think of whoever the biggest music star in the world is. Let's talk about like Taylor Swift, right? Taylor Swift is so big that I saw a video of like she was somewhere in Newport, I think, and like the entire city kind of shut down. And that's crazy, right? Now you kind of wonder how it feels to be in somebody like that skin, you know? Or if you're from a different culture and you see somebody else doing something else, you wonder what does it feel to be them? Like how does it feel to be that person? And most of the time we always have an idea that it feels either good or bad, right? But I think people sometimes like the world now is not very like patient with the fundamentals of being a human being, you know? And so now we curate a lot. Our generation curates everything. Everything is meant to, I'm going to show you, if I'm going to post something on Instagram, I'm going to show you what I think my life should look like, you know? If I'm going to write something or talk or speak, I'm going to speak in a manner that in my head is what or where I should be. Now, there's a disconnect between those two because yes, there's people who have been there, and they're the people who are showing that oh maybe this life is how it's supposed to be. And then there's people who want to get there, you know. And so, like something that's so funny now in Kenya, it's it's crazy how there is so many people, like teenage kids, teenage boys with British accents, and you'll see them, you know, be like, "Oh, it's a bright day in it," and I'm like, "What? That's not how you know." So then, or they'll be like, I don't even know. I don't know some British. Oh yeah, yeah man. You know, they'll say something like that, and you're like, I know for sure, like you don't really want to be like that, but you think it's cool, you know, and I think that is why right now there's such a high level of depression and anxiety and all that stuff because people don't actually. I feel like the human being of today, the functioning adult, does not know what their original default setting is. Like, if you ask somebody, or if you were to ask a human body, like, be yourself, they wouldn't even know where to start because there's so much sensory overload with everything that's going on that they don't understand like what they actually are, you know. And we struggle with that, and it's kind of funny for me as a person. I remember like I've never been a huge fan of like changing too much. And what I mean is like switching from one thing to the other and you know like just going with the flow. And so if you ask somebody like tell me something about Fabish, they'll probably tell you something that can still be there right now. But there's people who go like that, like they have phases, you know? And I struggled so much to not fall into that trap. And I don't know, like I never thought about depression as depression or anxiety as anxiety. Like I never thought like if you would have told me that this is how it feels, I would have been like, I did not know. Like I did not put the name to the feeling, you know? And I just think like what we need right now is people being like comfortable in their own skin. Like if you're sitting down and you feel the urge to talk a certain way or feel a certain way and you know very well in your head that that's not how I'm talking, suppress that urge. And it goes so many ways. It goes, and I think like if you're depressed, I think I can just say like I've had down days for sure. I've had days where like I'll wake up in the morning and it's kind of funny, like nothing happens, nothing huge happens, and that's what's scary. Like you wake up in the morning and you I'll use myself, right? I wake up in the morning and then I take a shower, and when I like mostly when I'm in the shower, like I'm like, let's say that the night before I had planned to do ABC, right? And I'd say I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do this project. I'm going to meet with this person. I'm going to meet with this person, and I'm going to do this and that and that and that, right? Then I wake up in the morning the next day. I've had enough sleep, pretty much. And people who know me will be like, "That's not true." But anyway, I've had enough sleep. I always make sure I find time to sleep. But I wake up the next day and I'm like, I do not want to go to that job. I do not want to meet that person. I don't even know why I asked to meet them. Like, why am I even, And it's always like in that moment where you look at everything and everything is just like, And nothing is wrong. It's not like you've gotten any bad news. It's not like anything has gone wrong, but you just feel in yourself like, and it's normally in the mornings. And then you feel like I don't want to go to work, and it's in that window that so many decisions are made. Like you might even call in sick. Well, you're actually not. And so then like maybe like let's say I get out of the shower, I am just like I do not know why. I don't know why I had to schedule a meeting with that person. Like why that's they're just difficult to deal with. Why did I even say, like, what was I thinking? And then it's funny because let's say like a few hours pass, I go out, I get the sun, and then I start feeling like, well, hold on. I tell myself nothing is actually wrong. Like I'm just gonna meet them. That's not such a big deal. I love my job. I love what I do. Then why am I all of a sudden thinking like, why was I thinking that way? So initially I was so angry that the me that made those decisions. And then now that I've come out of that, I'm like, why was I angry and called in that I'm sick? So it's just like that balance of whatever. And I came to realize that sometimes because of the world that we live in, you see so much. We are not. I don't think we are supposed as human beings. I read somewhere that a human being is not built to get as much information as we do in a day. Like you go to your Instagram and you see like you go like that and you go like that. So you go like that, you watch all the stories, and there's just so much your mind is trying to remember and be like, oh, they're at the beach. Oh, here it is a new song. Oh, they divorced. Oh, somebody died. Oh, somebody was born. Oh, and it's just like non-stop. And then you go up and like it's like for my feed is always like football or something. So then I see a bad result and I see all this. So it's like bad news in one Instagram, whatever, and then a good news in the next. So it's just like this, like you're just receiving all these things and trying to process them. And most probably, I don't know if this is true, but I have a feeling, and I'll go and look, but I almost feel like somebody should tell me, like, I feel like negative emotions are always stronger than positive ones. And they tend to last long and they tend to be very magnetic. And I feel like most people, especially in Africa and Kenya, you go through a life where you struggle so much to achieve things and you struggle so much to just make it. And so your default setting as your body is used to that constant worry, and you just don't know when to stop. And so when you find yourself, and I've had to catch myself with this a lot. Like I worry about one thing to the next, and I realized I was building this immunity, not even immunity. I was building this ability to worry on one thing after the next. Like I sat down one day, I wrote my life in the last 3 years, and I wrote in 3 quarters, right? And I was like, okay, between March 2020 and June, what was I worried about? And well, 4 quarters, not 3 quarters. But I was like, what was I worried about? And I realized, oh, I was worried about COVID. And then the next, after COVID was kind of done, what did I pick next on? And I was like, the next big thing was starting school. And then what did I pick next on? So it's just like this non-stop like wheel. And I realized that because our bodies are so used to worrying so much, especially if you come from a place like Kenya, you almost tend to your entire, like the way I guess the computer system of your body finds something to latch on, because that is what it knows to be normal. And so sometimes I feel like if you take somebody who struggled so much and you put them in a place that is completely struggle and stress free, they will find something to worry about. Like they will find it, because they don't know what to do when there's nothing to worry about. And so that's how depression or whatever and anxiety comes in, because we live in this constant world where we have to find something. And I think it's crazy because most people always think, yeah, I'm just worried because I have problems. I have so many. One day those problems will go away. And I realized, no. You can choose not to have those problems. There's some things you can't change, but you can choose not to worry about every single thing. And if you think I'm joking, just go to talk to a friend and ask them like how they're doing. Most probably they'll tell you, I'm not doing great. Why? Because my friend is not talking to me. And you wonder, is that big of a deal that you have to worry? And you realize that when there's nothing to worry about, they will turn to the smallest problem and fixate on that, you know. And I just think like that, as you continue, it just becomes a norm. And so like I would walk around sometimes. I have never been diagnosed with depression, ADHD, whatever. Well, I had a therapist, and he said I had some kind of yeah, some like very minimal depression. I did because of like during the COVID period. It was such a like isolation, right? But I I know for sure I have had anxiety. Now, it's always like I'm not like oh I'm worried, but it's always like the tiny things. Like I will okay, and I think maybe this is ADHD, maybe I don't know, but I will lock the door, right? Like one time I was making pancakes, and then I finished making pancakes, and I did not know if I had turned off the stove or not, and so I was leaving, right? I was leaving, and so I was leaving. I think with was it my aunt? I don't know who it was, but I was leaving, and I got into the car, and I thought, oh shoot, I did not turn off the oven, right? I ran back in. I unlocked the door. I unlocked the inner door. I went to the kitchen. I opened the kitchen door. I went all the way and checked, and everything was fine, right? And then I started walking back, and I'm like, "Are you sure it was fine? Did you just look and assume it was fine?" So then I went back again and checked. Like, yeah, it was fine. And I turned the knob and I turned it back off. Like it was fine, right? And then as I was leaving, I was like, what if by turning it on, I've messed it up and I've left a little bit of heat on, you know? So it was just like this non-stop like, oh. So then I had to go back and I'm like, it is fine. That switch is off. This is off. And so then everything looked fine in that moment. Then I pick up on, oh, did I turn off the washing machine? Oh shoot, I have to check that. Did I turn off the light? Did I turn off the water heater? And so it's just like this non-stop like I start thinking of something and I just continuously like I'm like, did I do that? Did I, you know? And so it just builds up, and it creates this thing where you almost. One thing though that I know for sure is if I ever go on a trip, no matter how much I pack up, right? No matter how much I pack up, I'm always gonna leave something behind. I'm always gonna leave something behind, and it's always gonna be one of those crucial things like a charger, a cable. That's a Gen Z's crucial thing. But it's always going to be something crucial that I get somewhere and I'm like, um, oh, I left something, and I'm like, oh no, I left the charger, and maybe it's like after like, like 3 bus rides, a flight, and I cannot go back, and I'm like, ugh, you know. So what I will say I've been doing is I write down a list on my phone. I make sure I inventory, and I know that's hard, but I always make sure I inventory, especially the tiny stuff and the ones that I know I might lose, and I'll just write them down. And then on the last day, I'll go through the list and make sure everything's there. Now, the funny thing is, when I go through that list, sometimes I find myself also starting to think, did I count that? I know I checked it, but was it actually there? So then I have to pour everything out and go through. And so that's just how the mind is. That's I guess that's how my mind works. But you put in barriers as a person, and once you realize that that's something you go through, you put in barriers and you decide that I'm going to work towards making sure that this doesn't become an issue. And I know it sounds really tough, but anyone who's going through anything hard, I will just say make training and running and working out part of your I guess like routine, like your schedule. Like I don't think you have to work. I don't think you have to work hard, like do like 1,000 push-ups to feel like you've done something. I think it's all people always confuse discipline and focus. And I know people who say, oh yeah, you're very disciplined. I'm like, no, I'm not. I just find things that I like and I do them. And so I don't think like I am so disciplined like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. No. I think it just goes with passion. And so if you're gonna work out and you know this is gonna help you feel better, I promise you, you can start by doing 3 push-ups. That's all. Just do 3 push-ups every single day. And then maybe the next week do it 4. And then maybe the next week do it 5. And it might seem hard, and it might seem like nothing is changing, but by making your mind want to do that, and telling yourself I'm going to do this regardless, or going for a run, or riding a bike, or skateboarding, or whatever, by training yourself to be used to that, you're already working towards something. And so yeah, that's the first thing. Number two is, I feel like most people right now are aiming so high and looking for that model life, like that great life. But I do think like maybe that's maybe that's what you want, but not what you need, And so you have to. What I always tell people is, find your passion. Like, just find your passion. I realized long time ago that I was very talkative and I liked arguing, and I was like, I would love to have a podcast. I can picture myself just talking nonstop. And I don't feel the pressure to do a podcast. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna record an episode today, and I love recording an episode. I don't feel like it's something that at some time I'm going to be like, oh, I could do this till I'm 90. I could be sitting somewhere when I'm 90 years old, talking like, hello, and like, hi, welcome to my podcast, and I would still love it. And that's just one of the few things that I love. I don't think there's so many things that I like. And so what I did, and I think the hack to life right now in this day and age, is to just find something that you love and just you're passionate about. And it might not be the most glamorous thing, and that's the issue. Fight the urge to make it glamorous. Fight the urge to make it look huge, and because we live in a world where everything is boom. You want that shock value, and you want people to be always be like, wow, I did not see that coming. But it's not always gonna be like that. So yeah, fight that urge. Fight the urge to always show off to your friend, or always find something. Like, I have never seen anyone post something annoying or something that's boring on their Instagram. It's always the moments that match, like I don't know, like I normally just post my podcast, but like I always sometimes wonder, like, when you scroll through your friends, just go to your Instagram right now and scroll through your friends. There's so much perfection. There's so much perfection that goes on there, and that's fine. Maybe some people feel that's how somebody feels like, you know, that's how they feel. Oh yeah, I love myself. I'm going to make sure that I take this video of myself, or I take this picture of myself. But like, I just think that we strive right now to talk cool, to dress cool, to live cool, to eat cool, to whatever cool. And maybe, and I know this is gonna blow your mind. One time, there's a few things that I've always wanted to do. One time I wanted to join the military, and then I was like, well, the only downside to that is if I had a family, I would always be away from them. So I was like, no. And then I remember I was looking for peace at some point, and so I wanted to be a priest. I actually wanted to be a priest. I pictured myself living in a monastery or whatever those places are, and just like, having my own tiny room, and we would like use, like every morning go to prayer, come back, pray for people, and just live like almost like detached from the world, and that looked very attractive to me. Like, I would just be there, and or I wanted to be a plumber. I wanted to be a plumber. Now, that is being a plumber is like the now these are things that I actually found out I enjoyed doing, not being a priest. I know priests are like, there's so much scandal. Not that type of a priest. No, just being like a godly, like loving, kind priest. I'm doing a hole for myself there, but anyway, I wanted to be a plumber. Now, there's some things that I definitely like wanted to like study and do, like being a pilot, or being a politician. No, I didn't want to be a politician. I wanted to be a president, which I think I still do want to be. Um, and I have an idea of how to get there, but I do not want to go through the politician route. Um, or I wanted to be what else was pilot president. I wanted to be a family person, like a dad, for sure. Yeah, but the thing I found. I also I love physics, so I would do. Me and my brother would do like a lot of projects, and we would like build things and try out things, and what in between like those early 2000s, between 2008 and 2013, we never paid for power. Cause me and my brother one time went and bought like these solar panels, like these tiny solar panels, and we fitted so many of them. And I remember we went to my uncle who was like a mechanic, and he had all these wires, and we just fitted them, and then we had like a central unit where all that power came to, and we would use it for lighting in our house. So we never actually paid for power, except well, actually never did, because we didn't use water heater. We had like those African bathrooms, the ones that are outside the house, and we would warm water. We did not cook. We used like charcoal, I think, but like so we saved the power, like money, energy. We saved a lot of money for energy. I loved doing that. And then I was a Boy Scout, so I learned so much stuff about that, like how to live, how to whatever. We even one time constructed a shower. We constructed so the way we did it is so we took bamboo sticks, right? And we got like this huge plastic bag, and then so think about we put four bamboo sticks down, like we put them. They were very tall, like almost like a room height, right? And then halfway we connected the four bamboo sticks to make like a square, and then we laid So there was four, and then we'd connect them, and then we would we split some of the bamboo sticks in half, and then we laid them across. We would like lay them across, and then we almost like made this a manger. You know, like what a manger looks like, but imagine like a raised manger that was like square, right? Like a trough almost. And then we put the plastic bag inside, and then we took ropes, and we knitted around, and it was like perfectly shaped, and we filled it with water. Now it was like a tank, like a tower. It was huge, and it had like I don't know, it had like I felt like 300 liters of water. Like it was a lot. And then at the bottom we put like a bamboo cylinder thing, that was like holding the plastic thing. And then the way we had a stopper was at the base, because it was like a very deep pool trough square thing. We had a rock fitted with like a plastic, and so there's a trough, and then we put like another bamboo on the at the top, and then it was attached to a rope that went down, and then there was a rock fitted with like a plastic thing, and so if you lifted the rock, it would open the hole and let out water, and then if you let it go, because of the weight, it will shut the hole. And so that's how we regulated like the shower water. So that was the trough, right? And then the water came down with just using like bamboos and bamboo sticks. We would make holes, and so it comes down, and came all the way to like the bathroom we constructed. At the on the floor of the bathroom, we had like gravel, because you don't want to make it muddy. So we dug it a bit deeper, and then we made gravel, and then we made like an outlet that ran out into like the sewer system, and then we had our soap. We covered it with like reeds. We made like a bathroom of reeds, and then we had so we got we got like the giant bamboo sticks, right? Everything is made of bamboo. So we got like a giant bamboo stick, and then like where they join the joints, we just cut it half, and then we made so many holes to make a shower head, and then we fitted it. So then the pipe comes from the main trough, that's like the main water tower, that comes down, and then it will like it's coming this way, and then we have like this bamboo flat thing with so many holes, and so we took plastic and we wrapped it around so that no water would come out. So what we would do is, so the rope that opened the shower was like all the way, like it was connected all the way to the top, but we had like a lot of levers and pulleys. So when you go to the shower, what you do is you turn it, and that rope would like move like, and then the rock that was at the base of that trough inside would lift, and the water would go through. So you would like regulate how much water, because we had like a plunger type thing that held the because of the pressure. And so we would turn it on and like turn it a little bit, and like there would be water, and it would come all the way through the pipes to that base thing, and then it would like come out through the sprinklers. And so we would leave the water out there the whole day, and so by like evening, by 6 p.m. it was really hot, like because of the sun. And so that's how we took showers. So we did all that through Boy Scouts, as Boy Scouts, and so after that, I developed like love for water systems and water works and how all that works. And so that's how I wanted to be a plumber. And like I just loved like looking at pipes and working with pipes and connecting them. And I love the idea that you can move from a shoot pipe, move it down to a smaller one, to like a home, then connect it to like a meter, and then I connect it to all the houses, and like it runs around or whatever. Like I just loved how everything, how much like pressure and water pressure, like how much, the higher, the lower, how much water pumps work, and the idea of like the water heater and stuff like that. And I just loved it. Actually, when I was a kid, I got in trouble a lot because I would burst water pipes. So if I ever saw a water pipe, because like right next to the road, there's always some that you're like, oh, I spot one like popping out of the ground. I'll just take a sharp rock and like pop it. And I was caught a few. I got in trouble a few times, but I would pop it and like fresh water would come out. I'd be like, yeah, let's go, not knowing the damage I would have caused as a kid. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a plumber. I just loved it. I loved connecting everything and just like seeing the whole system work. So yeah, that's pretty much what we did. And I loved it. And so see, if I wanted right now, I could be a very good plumber because of the experience I've had with Boy Scouts and bamboo sticks and water troughs and all that stuff. And I think I would build a pretty big plumbing agency, because like I don't even know why we're talking about plumbers, but I do think right now we are short of very good plumbers in the entire world. Like there's always like problems, and you have to call your landlord or landlady to come fix it, and like sometimes the plumber, like they take a long time. They're like, we don't know if this works, and you need to buy parts. So if you're a plumber and you can fix it yourself, that's already like saving money. And so if you can do the job well, definitely people are gonna pay for you to work with them. So yeah, that's my passion. I would have loved to do that, but right now I don't think so. Right now I love podcasting and doing the stuff I do. But yeah, so that's just an encouragement to people, like being comfortable in your own skin and saying to yourself, I'm not going to push myself to live the life that I think would most fit me and would most look good. I feel like if everyone in the world was blind, then so much of the problems that come with living a very glamorous life would go away, and people would actually live fulfilling lives. Now, I'm not saying make the entire world blind, but I'm just saying there's some things that come with what people see and like how they perceive you that are so unnecessary. And so anyway, yeah, I just hope wherever you are and you're being anxious, make a list. If you feel down, go and work out. If you feel like you're chasing the wrong dream, just ask yourself, what do I enjoy doing? And do that. And if you've not found anything else, be a priest. The good type. But yeah, I hope whoever's listening to this is gonna take something from it. And if you definitely want to be like a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout, or you're just interested in stuff like that, we can always. I really wanna one day do something like that, because now I'm too old to be like a Boy Scout. But yeah, it was fun. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm really hoping that by the end of October I can reach 1,000 subscribers. I know that sounds crazy, but I know I have enough friends, including you, who is listening, who might have not subscribed. So you've come all this way to all the way to the end. So please just hit that subscribe button. Like it doesn't take a lot. It's just like you just hit that, and it's like it's not like I don't know why people are very like stingy with the subscribe button. Yeah, just hit it, and then that's it. Like it's not gonna change anything. So anyway, I hope you have a great night, great day, great afternoon, great morning, great evening, whatever, wherever you are, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.